Let me take you to 100 days ago today. It was a rainy day in November. I was home alone, sitting in my bedroom. And I just finished a phone call with my developer. I finished my phone call and I confirmed everything because they had to start their sprint of coding, at which point you can't really change anything about the project. And a few days before that, I received the incorporation letters for OVOU, and on that very day, I opened a bank account for the business. And as I hung up the phone, I thought to myself, this is getting a whole lot more serious. This is not an idea anymore. This is an actual business. I felt lonely. Anybody in this room who has started a business before, they know how that feels. They know what I'm talking about. It's not like a breakup or a family loss where everybody understands what you're going through and they surround you. Entrepreneurship is a very lonely path, and people often don't get it. I was sitting in my room, and I've opted for this single bed mattress on a box so I can fit in my workstation here. And I've got my printer for the card and the label printer here. I've got my photography equipment here. I've got my safe here, and I'm sitting there in that chaos. Surrounded by things, and I desperately wanted to be surrounded by people. If you don't know what I do, OVOU is a smart business card. It was born in that bedroom. I packaged it in that bedroom. I created it in that bedroom. I printed in that bedroom. Everything happens in that tiny bedroom. Here's the thing, where I come from, family, groups, community matters a lot. I grew up learning to choose we over I. And in North America, I got introduced to a lot of individuality, a lot of me. Last year, I did this trip down Southeast Asia, and I ended up at a silent retreat in Bali, and I spent 7 days there in silent, which really helped me get in touch with myself and listen to that inner voice. And I'm still internalizing a lot of things that happened over the past 100 days, and looking back, I experienced different flavors of life in a very short period of time, but it all prepared me for that very moment, to be in touch with my intuition and lean into that. Even though a lot of people said, this is not how you're supposed to start a business. This is not how you're supposed to launch a startup. I mean, what kind of founder goes to 100 events for 400 hours? That's a waste of time. A lot of people told me that. And I didn't have a way to explain why I want to do this. I just had a feeling. I just had an intuition. And I said, this is the way I want to do it. And I'm going to promise myself at the very end, I'll judge whether it was a good decision or not. 9 out of 10 startups fail within the first few years. That's the statistic. That's the fact. And the number one variable for it, no market need. There are a lot of founders out there that try to solve other people's problems. I thought to myself, wherever there are strangers, they're gonna shake hands and they're gonna exchange business card. I need to be there, I need to experience that, I need to observe that, I need to know everything there is to that. I had a crazy idea, 100 events in 100 days. The first 60 events, I could have easily given up. There was no signs of me actually doing the right thing. There were a lot of people that were telling me you're wasting your time. Few people came to me, were like, give me a 6-page deck. I'll show it to some investors. Don't worry about these events. You can go home and be behind the computer. That's where you have to be. But I still went one event at a time, and I didn't really know what I'm gonna get out of it. I just knew something will come out of it. I mean, I'm blown away by today. Like, I'm very grateful for every single person in this room. I had an aha moment somewhere. It was event number 62, Volition Pitch Night, and my phone rang, and this number that I hadn't saved, for some reason I wanted to answer it. So I stepped out of the event, I answered, "Hey Reza, it's Christian." I was like, why does this guy think I remember who he is? I met 3 other Christians last week. But within a few sentences, I clearly knew who he was. I met him at event number 13 at BNI, at Robson, Horizon Restaurant, and I clearly remember his smile, his energy. He was giving a presentation. That's Christian giving a presentation at event number 13. And even though we hadn't been in touch for 2 months, he was very enthusiastically calling me and being excited. And I hung up the phone. I didn't really think about it much. He was telling me how he's following the journey. Everything I'm doing is inspiring. And then 2 days later, I posted about this event, and he was the first person that purchased the ticket and shared on his social media. Where is Christian, by the way? Meet this guy later. He's amazing. It took me a few seconds to process this. I was like, Christian is a chiropractor. It has nothing to do with what I do. I'm probably not his customer. And I clearly remember my card, my OVOU Smart Business card, didn't work on his phone. So he's not my customer either. Perhaps. Maybe you change your phone. But he was very gentle about it. He was like, he was a gentleman about it. He was telling me, oh, don't worry, your card is amazing. It's probably my phone. And I was thinking about the whole thing, and I was like, whoa, I've been making so many connections all along because of a human connection, not because of my job, not because of my product. And I'm confident today that I can go 180 degrees tomorrow, go in construction or some other job, and I still keep those connections. Because it had nothing to do with my product or my job or my profession. It was a pure human-to-human connection. These are some of the friends I made along the way. Some of them you may see tonight. And I have a very important takeaway. If you don't remember any of my speech, I really want you, this is a moment I want you to remember. It's very important for people to be in touch with their intuition and follow that and share their pure self out there. I was supposed to do 100 events. You probably are supposed to do something else. I don't want people to walk out of this room thinking they should do what the other person did. There are a lot of predefined stuff out there that you're supposed to follow. And I think there is a human behind that business that's very important, and people forget that. People to people running the same business, it's gonna be different. I observed over the past 40 or 30 events when I had that aha moment, I observed a lot of people putting their job ahead of themselves. They're trying to hide behind their profession, and they're letting their profession connect with people. Ex-Google employee, or I work at XYZ company. But I'm trying to remind you, every single one of you are bigger than what you do. Way bigger than what you do. You may not even realize how bigger you are than what you do. What you do is part of you, for sure. Your profession is part of who you are. But people want to connect with the person, not with the profession. And I noticed that all along the way. And one of the cool things that happened was I put myself in this framework of, I didn't have any agenda. I just attended events. I didn't want to sell anything. I didn't want to meet that specific person. I didn't work the room. Outside that door, I'm very stressed out trying to launch a business that wants to beat the odds of 9 out of 10 startups failing. The moment I walk in one of these events, I'm in vacation, talking to people. I'm enjoying it. All I have to do is take one of these pictures and put it on LinkedIn. My job is done. I have 2 hours of just talking to people and getting to know them. A lot of people put their professions ahead of themselves. I want to talk a little bit about LinkedIn because a lot of people told me, oh, you're doing amazing on LinkedIn. You are a genius on LinkedIn. How many people have seen me on LinkedIn? So I'm posting these type of stuff pretty much daily because that's how often I go to these events, and I'm documenting the process. Any guess how many hours it took me going to all these events? Well, I said it. 400 hours networking, commuting to and from events. But can anyone guess how many hours I spend on LinkedIn? Posting. Anyone? 4 hours. In total, in 100 days, I spent 4 hours on LinkedIn. A lot of people saw me at the event. I took a video with the host, explained the event, and I quickly put some lines on it, and I posted. I want to make a point here. If I didn't do that 4 hours, do you think the outcome would be still the same? I personally don't think so. I think it would be a different outcome if I just attended 100 events. Let's say if I did 400 hours on LinkedIn, a lot of people do that, and no networking. I just talked about networking, helped you guys network, give you tips, do the lighting, edit the video. A lot of people do that. And I'm blown away by how many people are out there telling us what to do, and they're not getting any experience. I'm trying to make a point. These two things go hand in hand. It's like a fire. Let's say you're going to a campfire, you're trying to build a campfire, you spend a lot of time grabbing the logs, putting them together, you put the smaller ones in the center, and you try to get a little fire going on. It takes a lot of hours. And then you put the gasoline. Social media is your gasoline. A lot of people are trying to put gasoline on nothing. There's no fire. And a lot of people are trying to, have a whole night of fire without any gasoline. Without, just attending offline networking. These two go hand in hand. we are living in a world that we have these tools. The phone in your pocket is amazing. It does wonders. But there's a secret. The secret is those two, they should be 100% the same. There's a lot of disconnect between the person online and the person offline. The point of doing that is for the person. I met Mauricio at event number 6. Where's Mauricio? Mauricio at event number 6. I didn't meet him till Tech Vancouver 70 or something events. 2 months later, he told me, oh, Reza, it feels like I see you every day, but I just realized it's been 2 months. Because my writing, my videos, and my posts are the same person as the offline person that I am in the crowd. That matters. That matters a lot, and people forget that. The whole point of doing online is to keep engaged while they're busy and you can't see each other. A lot of people ask me why I made OVOU card and how the idea came. It's one of these cards. I think I am bigger than a phone number on a piece of paper. And I think you guys are bigger than a phone number on a piece of paper too. And I wanted to have a tool that shares more of me with the person I just met, because I love for them to spend a little time getting to know me. 100 events in 100 days. A lot of people ask me what's next. There's a podcast coming called 100 Connections with Reza Vee. And I'm hoping I can interview some notable, successful people about the relationships behind their business. Not the business story, the human, the person behind that business running it. Thank you.